into Bitcoin in the first place, and when was that? Tell us why you're in here.
Yeah, I just came across it and I was interested. I went and tried it out for myself, and I was blown away when I discovered that I could send money instantly from point A to point B without the need of any bank, and there was basically no restrictions on sending the money. It was instant, didn't cost me anything, and yeah, this was truly game changing to me at the time because the only way I knew of transferring money like that was through a bank, and normally it'd be slow, it would be expensive, and yeah, it was unreliable. So uh, it's just a superior form of money. But from there, I went down the rabbit hole and I learned a lot of other things. I worked out that basically the fiat currencies were a complete scam. The banks rely on something called fractional reserve banking, and yeah, whole lot of other things. So Bitcoin Cash is just a way better form of money, and it puts money back in the control of the people. I can have financial sovereignty with Bitcoin Cash, so this is really appealing to me.
So that pin, free the market, free the people. That's the libertarian ethos is really where you're coming from here.
Yeah, I guess so. This is something that's really appealing to me, and I don't really want to trust anyone else with my money. I want full control over that. I don't want my money to be able to be seized by government or anyone else, which is currently the case if you store all that in a bank account. So, yeah, this is basically putting the control into my hands. And so that was about mid 2016, and yeah, just progressively became more and more interested in it. First started off doing a bunch of trading, still do this, but this is not really where I focus my efforts anymore. I'm more focused on adding value to the technology itself and promoting the adoption and increased usage of that to the masses. So.
Now, how big of a hand did you play in Townsville's acceptance of Bitcoin Cash? Were you a big part of this, and what was the experience doing all this?
Uh, it was already taking off before I got here, but as I mentioned, I decided to come here to get behind this effort and support it. Since I did that, yeah, I've contributed to this a bit, onboarded a few merchants, and also documented a lot of these onboardings. Also been promoting the Bitcoin Cash accepting merchants in the area through the YouTube and things like this. So yeah, I've been contributing in that area, and also, of course, I came up with the idea of hosting this event here. I was like, there's a gap for conference, and somebody really needs to take the lead on this. It had been like nearly a year and a half since the last big Bitcoin Cash conference, and these kind of events are needed to just showcase the great opinion leaders that we've got and people who are building cool things and the technology itself, which is far superior to any of the competitors out there.
Now, when you're talking about Bitcoin Cash, what is it that you see as integral to it? Is it the global side of it? Is it the decentralized, no central point of failure side of it? Is it the incensorability of it? What is so integral, principally, to Bitcoin?
Its function as a electronic cash system. This is all I care about. This is really the primary use case of Bitcoin and what gives it value. This is like the reason why I got into it, and just seeing more of its use in payments would be really good. There has been an obvious and active attempt that is still ongoing to this day to suppress that aspect of it and try and teach people that it's something else. This is primarily what the BTC supporters are doing. They're just totally clueless. Many of them, the majority of them, have been deceived by other malicious actors who know that they're intentionally deceiving people. And they say, yeah, you're not meant to use Bitcoin, but acquire it and hold on to it anyway. This really sounds like a description of a Ponzi scheme, what they instruct people to do. And yeah, it doesn't have any kind of use case as electronic cash anymore. It's been intentionally crippled by design in order to promote Blockstream Products, which is the company that captured the protocol development. So yeah, this is just useless now. Their attempts at crippling it and then pushing people onto their products actually failed. We can see that when it reached the scaling ceiling, that all the economic activity actually left BTC and went to other blockchains like Ethereum, for example. And actually, the BTC supporters today are really salty that there's no longer any innovation happening on the BTC blockchain. It's all left and it's gone to other competitors like Bitcoin Cash.
Wow, strong words. Strong words. I mean, some people don't go so far to say it's that maliciously conspiratorial, but what? I mean, I'm guessing you're pointing to like the Reddits and how they practice so much censorship on the Reddits and suppression of thought on this matter. What kind of led you to see behind the curtain on this?
Look, I'm just a straight shooter. I tell it how it is. I'm not really concerned about hurting the feelings of anybody. This is the reality of the situation, and some people think that you should approach this differently, but this is exactly what the BTC supporters would want you to do. You're playing into their hands if you're doing that. So you need to tackle this head on, these issues, and not stray away from the truth, because just remaining true to truth, then this is what is ultimately going to make things like Bitcoin Cash succeed, which is actually the only functioning version of Bitcoin that's left over at the moment. And of course, all this the censorship practices obviously played a big part in the successful coup that took place on Bitcoin, and that's unfortunate. If I was more active in the space at the time, or actually involved even earlier, I'm sure I would have spoken out against a lot of this stuff.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, philosophically, these forks. Why are you landing on Bitcoin Cash, not Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin SV? What's so important about this community at Bitcoin Cash, the community behind this? What's so important about this one?
Yeah, I have no interest in any of the other forks. This is the only version that is remaining true to making Bitcoin what it originally was. And this is the reason why I'm involved in it now, because I'm really passionate about pursuing those goals that were originally set out by like the pioneers of Bitcoin. There's Satoshi Nakamoto, like Gavin Andresen, Mike Hearn. These are the people who really had their heads screwed on, but unfortunately they were defeated by these bad actors. And anyway, the dream still continues on here on Bitcoin Cash. This is where it's happening now, and there are new people who are leading the charge. It's a whole new generation of Bitcoiners, and I think we are ultimately going to end up being successful in the end. I think it's just a really good buying opportunity, really. Like, if you look at this over the long term, not a short term period, this is just like an opportunity. The majority of the market participants have not yet realized that Bitcoin Cash is actually Bitcoin. This is how it functioned in the beginning. This is all on Bitcoin Cash now. All the development and innovation is happening here. And the market has not yet realized this. So soon the price is going to reflect this, but right now we see the value of Bitcoin Cash going up. Price has not yet reacted. We've seen the price of BTC going up because the market has been deceived, but actually its value is going down. So soon this has got to balance out, and we're probably not too far away from that happening.
Talking about value, earlier today, Amari was talking about the fact that we're bringing so much value to this currency, to this community. What exciting advancements are you seeing in this community? Why we're here? What exciting things are happening here?
Well, right here in Townsville, something that we're pioneering is this underwriting, and the underwriting is where basically some investor, someone looking to accumulate Bitcoin Cash, is putting up Australian dollars in order to purchase the Bitcoin Cash from merchants who choose to accept Bitcoin Cash but don't want to hold Bitcoin Cash. So merchants, that's what the software is called that does this automatically. It's called Hula, and merchants are able to accept Bitcoin Cash, receive the additional business that many merchants would receive from accepting it, and they don't have to deal with like holding on to a different asset, and they can still pay their bills and everything as per usual. They save out on fees. There's no fees involved because this is a really good system where normally if you're a merchant or investor looking to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash, you have to go through an exchange. They have fees, but by connecting these two parties in an OTC trade, there's no fees and everyone wins. So this is kind of what's going on here. And the software does it all automatically. As soon as a payment comes through a particular merchant, the public key that's assigned to the merchant is being monitored. There will be support for XPubs soon, but to increase privacy, of course. But yeah, at the moment, it's just monitoring a single public key and then doing a lookup on the value of the Bitcoin Cash that came through when it does come through, and then spits out a CSV file, which is then uploaded to the banking website, and then boom, the payment comes through the bank. Next day, they get the same amount of Australian dollars as the customer was meant to pay, but they paid the equivalent in Bitcoin Cash.
Well, that's fantastic. Last thing I'm going to ask you is, I mean, you've been living here for what, 3 months, you said?
Yeah.
What's the most exciting purchase you've made with Bitcoin Cash here?
I can tell you the most exciting purchase that someone else would have made, and this is like a pretty big one. They purchased a car with Bitcoin Cash, and this was not like a direct deal with somebody. I did a direct deal with my car, but these guys actually went to a Mazda dealership and they purchased it from a Mazda dealer, and they were actually underwritten. So they accepted Bitcoin Cash, and some investor came along automatically and gave the business like $40,000 or something, and then they got Bitcoin Cash, and this was a really good purchase. Yeah.
Do you know this person particularly?
Yeah, I do. It's a person speaking at this conference, but yeah.
Awesome.
What we're all about here, spending Bitcoin Cash, and yeah, we go out of our way to support businesses that do accept Bitcoin Cash. So it's a smart decision to start accepting it.
Aiden, thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks, Calvin.